Jacobson, headmistress of the Budo, where we teach authentic ninjutsu and classical samurai bujutsu. And for those of you who don't know what that is, those are the ancient martial arts of the ninja and samurai. Now tonight we're going to be discussing a force multiplier and how you utilize a force multiplier within self-defense. The reason I'm making this particular video tonight is because someone got in one of my comment sections on one of my videos that I made on self-defense and asked me what exactly is a force multiplier. For all of you guys who've been following my channel for a long time, you guys know that I make the site's dedicated to traditional Japanese martial arts of the ninja and samurai. However, we also have a strong emphasis on reality-based self-defense, self-protection. A lot of times people use different words to kind of talk about this realm of martial arts, whether it's personal protection or combatives or whatever they use. We just say self-defense. In traditional Japanese martial arts, they call it Goshin Jutsu. Now, when I'm making the Goshin Jutsu, right, those type of videos, I do use the term, don't forget to utilize, force multipliers. Anyway, this one individual gets underneath one of my videos and he says, when you're discussing a force multiplier, what exactly is that? He was asking me, is it a certain way that you train to make your punches stronger? Is it some way that you're supposed to press on certain pressure points and all this kind of thing? He had a list of different things that he thought it was. And I thought to myself, I was like, well, damn. The term force multiplier within the world of self-defense is pretty common. And it never dawned on me that I should have probably explained that a little bit within that video of what it is, so that the viewer could understand more from where I'm coming from. So tonight I'm going to talk about a force multiplier, what exactly it is, what exactly I mean it to be when I'm doing my videos, and how you guys can take this information and hopefully utilize it for your own personal protection skills, self-defense, Goshin Jutsu, so on and so forth. Okay? Now, lots of people do have their own variation of description to force multiplier. I will say that. Some people like to throw in techniques or strategy or principles and philosophy and all this kind of stuff. And for me, strategies or hey-ho or whatever it is that the traditional Japanese words that we utilize when we're talking about that in that context. But to me, if we're talking about raw reality self-defense, strategies, principles, tactics, all these different things are what they are. To me, a force multiplier is something that's specifically in the physical realm. Okay? The most basic, for me to give you the most basic explanation of that is a force multiplier is when I throw a punch at someone or I make a strike at somebody, if I use the same amount of force, the impact on the other end will increase. They'll be multiplied than the force used. Right? So what does that mean? That means if I have this, I got this piece of wood here, and if I take this wood and I punch this wood here, if I hit that using that amount of force, the impact on the wood is going to be X amount. So this much force multiplier. So this much force creates that much impact. Right? So if I want to use this, if I want a force multiplier, what that means is I'm going to use the same amount of force, but because I have something in my hand, when it hits impact, the impact is going to be greater than what it would if I had nothing in my hand. Now, the most common one in the world of self-defense, you guys have probably seen this, is called a kopo, right? And we use that a lot here at the dojo and teaching people how to utilize this. It's nothing but a stick. It's a piece of wood with two holes in it. It's got a rope here. A lot of times people have it in like this. And as you can see, if I made a punch, if I punched this, you get so much impact off the force. Or if I did a hammer fist or a palm strike, taishozuki, this kind of thing. But if I have this and I hit with the same amount of force, my output would be the same. What ends up happening is it makes a dramatic amount of more impact to the wood or to the target, right? So you don't have to be able to punch harder. If you have something in your hand, the same amount of force, the same amount of output increases the impact because of the tool you have in your hand, right? So that's the idea behind a force multiplier. Now the reason of having a force multiplier is so important when we're talking about the realm of self-defense is because it doesn't matter how big you are or how strong you think you are or whatever, all of us have our own image of ourselves, but the reality of the situation is predators attack prey. Right? They're going to go after someone who they think is weak. Now, when they do that, you know, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't really matter how big you think you are. You know, someone's always bigger than you. That's absolute. So you want to make sure that you always have a force multiplier with you at all times. That way you can then have some sort of like equal playing field. Now, a force multiplier doesn't have to be this. I have a couple examples here that I'm going to show you, but a force multiplier don't have to be this specific type of, you know, traditional piece of wood carved out that fits perfectly in the palm of your hand and you can strike in and it creates more pain. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. And here's a modern variation. This is probably the one that you guys probably see the most in stores. It's a piece of metal. It's got a ring on it for like your key rings, and you know, you can use that to strike into certain areas. As you can see, like if I take my thumb and I hit that wood, it doesn't make an indentation in the wood. But if I take this and I, you know, just doing that alone, now I've already indented the wood. So I mean, I think the concept of this, hopefully the viewer, you guys watching this, you guys get the concept of where I'm coming from. But force multiplier is something that you're going to need to have if you're serious about self-defense. Again, the raw reality is if you get jumped, the people that jump you have an advantage. Whether they're bigger than you, stronger than you, they have a tactical advantage, they have numbers. All of those situations you are the one that's at a disadvantage. And the predator will always put themselves in the most advantageous position, right? So you're always going to have, you want something that's going to be able to help you affect self-defense. You want to be able to have something that will enable you to be able to change the outcome by having something that can multiply the force with the impact going into the target, right? Like I said, we have a couple different variations here. This is a koppo that's very traditional, found in most Japanese martial arts schools. I can't speak for other types of martial arts. I can only talk about the traditional martial arts, Koryu, things like that, but this is something that you see in Japanese dojo. Here's a more modern variation of that. One that I think everyone should carry no matter what is a knife. I am a huge advocate for edged weapons, and as you guys know, if you follow my channel, you guys know we do a lot of edged weapon training here at the dojo, and it's something that, you know, I think is very important to be able to have the skills with a knife or an edged weapon. But just because you have the knife doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use the blade. You don't have to pull the blade. You could pull this, and again, using the handle of the knife, you know, as a force multiplier as well, so you can strike, so on and so forth. Another one that I think has a lot of use within the realm of self-defense, you can buy these tactical flashlights that are high LED lights where you can kind of put that in there and kind of, you know, temporarily blind someone. These are made out of steel, and they're made where you could take them and just hammer away and strike into your target, and yeah, they're going to do some serious damage. So you could get these tactical flashlights as well. You can kind of, you know, temporarily blind, you know, take away the vision. You could temporarily blind the person while you can move from one location to another, move your position. Again, if you're the target, move the target, right? It's harder to hit a moving target. So there's lots of different drills and techniques that we utilize here at the dojo with the tactical flashlight, and I think this is something that's everyone should have as well. I think, you know, a tactical based flashlight and a good knife that you're really good at pulling, drawing, and utilizing with your martial arts is something that I think is everyone should just have. You know, to me, the koppos and all this kind of stuff, I think they're nice, but to me they're very limited. If I'm carrying this, it's a piece of wood and this has a rope on it, I can carry this around anywhere I go. It's fine, but I'm only using it for one thing. Where, you know, if I'm carrying a knife, now I have multiple uses for it. And to me, it's all about variation. It's all about how many things can I use it for, what's its usability. Same thing in a survival-based situation. It's like when you're taking everything out in your pack, you want to make sure that the things you have is so versatile that you can use it for multiple different things. I can use this knife for a variety of different things. It doesn't have to necessarily be in self-defense. But even in the world of self-defense, this knife enables me to do a variety of different things that these two things don't. These two things, which you see all the time, self-defense tools and all that kind of stuff, it's all well and good. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to take away the use of them. I mean, they're good for what they are, but the reality of it is, this knife automatically gives me more versatility then both of these. Anything that I do with this, striking into a target, I can do the same damn thing with this knife, as long as I don't draw the edge out. I just keep the handle, and I can strike into something this way, utilizing my striking skills. So I definitely think, you know, the edged weapon is something that you can utilize that's going to give you more versatility than this. This, on the other hand, gives you something slightly different. With the edged weapon, it's going to give you more of a pain response to the people that your targeted attacker, right? Because you have an edged weapon. I mean, you literally have a blade, so you'll be able to cut or do what you need to do from that perspective, or you can even, you know, utilize it in, you know, controlling and pulling and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, with the tactical flashlight, it gives you just a different look. So here, you still have the same thing with a tactical flashlight, still same thing. You can utilize this from a striking perspective as a force multiplier, but I can also use it to, you know, attack the vision, things like that, work on my evasion skills, escape, that kind of thing. So again, both of these tools here, I feel, are much more practical in the world of self-defense. And again, everyone likes to utilize different tools. So whether you're saying it's self-defense, self-protection, personal protection, reality-based self-defense. To me, I don't know why any of those words have to be, why people have to, I guess it's all a sales pitch to me, because the reality it is, you're defending a situation. You're protecting yourself in an intense, violent situation, and the odds are going to be against you. I mean, whatever predator is coming after you, you're the prey, and they feel they have the advantage. Obviously they don't know everything, what you're carrying, what you have, but they're going to put themselves in a very advantageous position, and you're going to be the one in a disadvantageous position. So know that. So if you guys are going to be serious about self-defense in some fashion or another, and some people, you know, they don't want to carry a knife, some people don't want to carry a firearm, someone doesn't want to carry, you know, or whatever, all the different types of things you can utilize tools in self-defense for, that's fine. You know, have something. If you're serious about self-defense, having something with you that's going to be a force multiplier and at least give you something to use, that's going to be better than nothing. Okay? If they have a weapon and you don't, they have an advantage, right? If they're much more bigger, if it's an empty-handed fight, which, let's look at that, like, you know, someone tries to beat you up, which, you know, I'm too old for that shit. You know, but I guess there's lots of young people out there that get into a good scrap at the end of the day, right? So, excuse me, if you know, if you're in an empty-handed match and someone's, you know, got 150 pounds on you, you're at a disadvantage. You know, they're bigger and probably stronger or whatever. You know, that's why in sport martial arts they have weight classes for a reason, right? So if they're bigger than you, you're going to need something as a force multiplier to kind of even the playing field. Right? If they have a tactical advantage, whether they have a firearm or a knife or, you know, some sort of bludgeoning weapon or, you know, that sort of thing, you're going to need something that's going to help even playing field. You know, if they have multiple attackers, you're going to need something that's going to help you evade from multiple attackers and get in the car, lock the door, or you know, escape drills and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, everyone will also ask the question, well, which is the best one? I don't know. The one that you need for that situation. Every tool in your kit is utilized for something different. So you need to make, it's just like when we go out on our survival trips, right? You're going working on survival skills. Different areas, you're going to carry different things. Situational awareness speaks the same thing. If you guys are going to go out and you're going to different types of areas of town, are you going alone or are you going with your family? Who are you going with? Where are you going? What can you carry? What can't you carry? What is allowed? What's not allowed? But keep in mind, when you think about what's allowed and what's not allowed, it's all well and good, but criminals don't give a shit what's allowed and what's not allowed. You know, so you got to keep that in mind. And all these different things do play or role into what it is that you should carry in that situation. So there is no, you know, this is the tool that you should carry for self-defense, because if that was the case, everyone would just get that one. You know, it's like the old saying. It's like you know, you can't take your favorite number to a math quiz, right? Because that might not be the answer to that problem. So wherever you're going, you want to make sure that you utilize the correct tools for the situation, you know, and the element of where you're going. So you want to make sure that you prepare. Another thing is, you know, make sure that you always carry something, whatever it is you're going to have, make sure that it's readily available when you're going in a situation you might need it. if you're leaving a store late at night, you always get your keys out. You should have your, have your knife in your hand. Have it ready. Or have your flashlight out in your hand. Have it ready. Get your keys out, get your flashlight out, and you're pushing your cart out to the car to put your groceries in if you're doing late night shopping. But you want to make sure that, if you're going to be good and truly understand self-defense, then you need to understand that you need to be ready for the situation as much as possible. And sometimes, educating people on preparedness and situational awareness is way more important than teaching people, a proper strike while using a knife or a proper strike with a tactical flashlight. It's one of those things where, I'd rather educate people on situational awareness and preparedness than, the techniques are great, that's all well and good, but you can save yourself a lot more by using your mind and understanding the element than what you will by doing the various different techniques that we see in the martial arts. So anyway, that is kind of a brief description of a force multiplier. It could be done in a variety of different ways. It could be a variety of different tools. Just today I decided to use these 4. There are hundreds of different tools and weapons out there that you guys can use as a force multiplier. There's millions of different tools and weapons that people use for self-defense, and the top self-defense tools and top self-defense weapons and all that kind of stuff. And educate yourself on what it is that you're going to carry. Practice with whatever you do have. Prepare yourself for the worst, hope for the best, prepare yourself for the worst, and really make sure that you're aware of the situation. Get really good at situational awareness and prepare yourself for whatever situation that you're putting yourself into. Okay, so anyway, that's tonight's lesson. Hopefully you guys got something from that. If this is the first video that you've seen of me, right? Again, I'm Christa Jacobson. I'm the headmistress of the Budo. We teach authentic ninjutsu and classical samurai bujutsu. Even though we do teach classical ancient Japanese martial arts, or Koryu of the ninja and samurai, we do also have a strong emphasis on raw reality self-defense. So if you guys are interested in that, check out our website at www.budoninjutsu.com. There you can see a list of our schools, some of the different areas of training that we cover. We also have a store. Click on our store. We have a variety of different DVDs and books that you guys can purchase. And if you don't live next to one of our dojos, we do offer an online ninjutsu dojo, and you can study with us through our online dojo. So thank you guys very much for your love and support. Don't forget to click subscribe to my YouTube channel, because if you're watching this, you're seeing me on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. Show me some love. Give me a thumbs up. Put some kind words in the comment section for me. And I'll talk to you guys in a few days with another video.